Hi everyone, it's Donna here from Donna's Creative Corner, and I just thought I would do a quick video to show you some of the things I've been working on in the past few months. I have some altered bottles, and I'm going to show you some altered journal covers or composition book covers. Starting off with the bottles, most of these have been just painted on the outside with regular acrylic paint. This one has the pearlescent paint. I think it was Martha Stewart paint, if I'm not mistaken, so you can see the shine. And then decorated after that. Let me do these one by one here. This one, like I said, has the acrylic paint, and then on top of that I just put this pretty embroidered organza. It goes all the way to the top, and it's gathered at the top and comes over the top there. This is just a broken jewelry piece. There's another beautiful pink jewelry piece there. I have a few of these, and I'm hoarding them because I love them so much. And then around the top there's just some seam binding that I covered with Lindy's Stamp Gang in pink and green, and then a spray of flowers from I think these are from Wild Orchid Crafts, and then on top of that some glitter glass. I don't know if you can see the glitter glass there, and then interspersed with some beads all around. And then around the top of the bottle there's some shiny trim. So that's the first one. The next one, oh, and actually this was a olive oil jar that I cleaned. Looks a lot different now, doesn't it? This bottle was, let me see if I remember what this was. I think it was some cooking wine that I've recycled. It's painted with pearlescent paint. Has a strip of designer paper going all the way around the outside. On top of that is a strip of lace. This is from, let me go in. This is from Hobby Lobby, and then on top of that is another trim, and I believe this one is from the Lace Mama on eBay. And then I just put little tiny crystals in the middle of each flower, green crystals, and the trim has pink ribbon running through it. On the bottom and up at the top are some bling trim that I got from an eBay seller. And then on the front has a big shabby flower that I made out of just lace and trim remnants. And underneath that is a doily, small doily, then some velvet leaves that I had in my stash, a pearl embellishment that I made, pearl spray, and then some marabou feathers. And up at the top is an applique that I put some rhinestone pieces in it, and a tiny ribbon rose there, and then a little piece of trim around the edge at the top, and then a resin rose at the very top of the bottle. So that's that one. These are all very shabby chic, aren't they? I love that style. That's what I'm into right now, shabby chic. This is actually like a bud vase. It came with this came from a coworker. She was getting ready to throw it away. I said, no, I'll take it. I want to do something with it. It already came with this bling strip around it, and then I just added this beautiful trim at the bottom, and I put some pearls in the center of each piece. It's making noise because there's some glass, what are these called? Pebbles in it to hold the flowers that I have at the top. Above and below the trim, I put some bling and pearl trim that I got from an eBay seller as well, with some little trim underneath that. The trim goes above and below. I believe this trim was from Hobby Lobby as well. And then towards the top there's a flower, mulberry flower, some appliques coming off the sides of those, and at the very top some trim with ribbon running through it. And I believe this is from the Lace Mama as well on eBay. And then I put some pearls in the center of each of the flowers. And then I put a coordinating beautiful flowers, silk flowers, in the top. That's that one. And then the last one is kind of big. It's not going to fit. I'll turn it this way. This is actually a wine bottle. I have plenty of these to work with. I love wine. Starting at the bottom, there's a little pom-pom trim going around the bottom. That's from Hobby Lobby. This one also has a strip of designer paper, and on top of that a strip of corrugated paper that I just kind of whitewashed with some acrylic paint to shabby it up some. And then on top and bottom of the corrugated is some bling trim. In the center of the front is one of my vintage girls. I believe this image came from, I got from Pinterest. And I cut it out with a Spellbinders die, which created the scallop around the edge there. This die was the perfect size for the image. And underneath that is just some tulle trim going all the way around the image. Beautiful cluster of flowers. Most of these are from Wild Orchid Crafts. They're variety packs. One of the variety packs that they have. Those are awesome. They have all different beautiful pastel combinations. This too has glitter glass on top of all the flowers, and pearls interspersed, some pearl buds there, some velvet leaves, some appliques going around, some Venice lace appliques going around the outside, and I put some crystals, green crystals in the center of each of the flowers. And then I also put some little butterflies. These are, I believe this is a Martha Stewart punch with some bling in the center of each butterfly. There's a few flying around the bottle. At the top is some more trim. I believe this is also from the Lace Mama on eBay. And then some pearl trim along the top of that. And in the center at the top is a very pretty broken earring, rhinestone earring piece. Another little flower at the top, and I just folded the flower over, and a pearl and bling piece in the center of the very top. So those are my altered bottles. Now, let me move this out of the way. I have some 3 altered composition books, and this idea I got from, I followed a tutorial from Michelle, I think Pipeling is her last name. She is Ribbons, Roses, and Lace here on YouTube. She does these awesome tutorials. She has a series called Just Add Glue, and this is from one of those series. I'll put the link to that video down in the description box below so you can go and check it out and see how this was put together. She did a great job. This is actually a regular old composition book. I covered the inside of it with designer paper. Oh boy, that shines. With some designer paper, just so you couldn't see all the garbage that was on the middle there. And these are designed to be removable so that when you finish the journal, you can replace it with another one. You still have your reusable cover. All three of these I first covered with a felt is the base of it, and then it's decorated with trims and laces and what have you. The image, this image, I have a set of these fairies and I got from a Etsy seller. It's a collage sheet from an Etsy seller. The book is covered with this, I guess this was like a square or oblong doily. If I had it to do again, I wouldn't put it so far overlapping because it just kind of hangs down there and droops. But in the center of each of the scallops I put a pearl to give it some interest. The image is surrounded by some two different trims. There's a wedding dress applique at the top here that's covered with pearls. And then in the bottom corner I have a cluster of two different flowers, rolled flowers that I, actually three different rolled flowers that I made. A bow with a bling piece in the middle of it. And then also peeking out is a cameo, polymer clay cameo, a rose, and some pearls and a velvet leaf. And at the very top here there's a little butterfly, acrylic butterfly peeking out. And then on the trim, on the binding, there's a row of these shabby rosette trim. And then the back is just plain. You can see because this is going to be sitting on the surface. I didn't want anything that could fall off from use. So it's just a plain doily on the back. So that's the first one. The second one, go out. Same thing. It's a regular old composition book. I covered the inside with some designer paper. Finished it with some trim and some appliques on the inside. On the cover is various pieces of vintage linens and doilies and trims, two different trims around the top and the bottom. Those go all the way around to the inside. Vintage image from Pinterest, printed on fabric. All of the images are printed on fabric, and her flowers have some stickles on them to give them a little bit of shine. There are applique flowers grouped all the way around the edge underneath the picture, and then a pink trim go in a little bit. There we go. A pink trim underneath, then another this loopy trim, and then some pearl trim, and then these are also trim cut into small pieces. I believe I got this from an eBay seller as well. It's very pretty. And I also have some little wedding dress appliques peeking out from the doilies along the edge as well. So that's that one. And the third one, these were very addictive. Once you get going on these, I ran out of composition books, so I need to go get some more. This one as well, I'll tell you the story of this in a minute. Designer paper, some trim decorating the edge. On here there's some two different eyelet trims going all the way around the top and the bottom. and some very pretty organza trim going all the way around, and another trim going around here, and yet another one going around the bottom. So there's all kinds of different trims on this one, and they go all the way around to the front. And they were pretty by themselves. I didn't want to do too much more to it, besides add some pearls on the trim there and some pearls on the trim at the top here. And the image is just a flower image decorated with some stickles to give it some shine. A box treat, satin box treat trim going around the outside, and then another Venice lace trim going on the inside of that, and decorated with some little pearl embellishments going around that. Now this album is actually I've given to my mother. I'm going to tell a story here, so if you don't want to stick around for the story, you can tune out now. But this album I gave to my mother several months ago. My parents are both in their late 80s. My mom is going to live to be 110, but my dad has some health issues lately. As a matter of fact, he went to the hospital last night. So if anybody is waiting on an order from me for my wedding dress appliques, and there's a delay, that's why. He's been in and out of the hospital for probably the last year and a half now. And during that time, my mom and I and my dad have had time to do a lot of talking, and while we're visiting in the hospital. And my mom started telling all these stories that I had never heard before, of when she was a child, when I was a child. And I had just finished making this first album, this first journal, and I decided I wanted to give it to her, and I asked her to start, as she has these memories, just to jot them down. And I told her I don't want to see this until she's done with it. So she reluctantly took the book home, and every time I'd see her, I'd ask her, have you written anything in your journal? And she said, oh, I wrote a page. So she was kind of reluctant at first, but the last few times that I've talked to her, she started telling me that, oh, I did like 2 or 3 pages this week, and I wrote it, and I went and showed it to your dad, and he read it, and we talked about it. So she's starting to get into it, and I told her I wanted to take this back to do the journal. So I haven't read anything in here, but you can see she started really getting into it. So I'm really thrilled. This is going to be a keepsake for me when she's no longer with me. So this means a lot to me. So so these things, you know, that we make and give can have a lot of meaning to somebody who's a recipient. So that's my little story, and that's all I have for now. I have a couple of boxes that I've been altered boxes that I've been working on, but I'm not really, they're not finished to me yet, so I'm not going to show them yet. But that's what I've been working on, and I thank you for sharing your time with me, and look forward to more wedding dress appliques and beautiful things coming from me in the near future. Thanks, bye, and you have a good day. Bye-bye.